Hello everybody. So today we are going to be using the crock pot once again. We're going to be making a potato leek soup that has some mild Italian sausage that's added to it. So that's going to be the one dish that I'm doing. And then we're going to make some more bread. We're going to do a garlic herb bread. And then the last thing will be a salad. But first off, the crock pot is the first thing that we're going to be doing. So I have about a 4-hour window this morning that I want to do the crock pot. Then I have to leave and I'll come back and do the bread. And then I will do the salad after that. But we'll do the crock pot first, okay? So the first thing I did is I fried up some pork sausage, a pound. And then with that frying pan, I took 2 big leeks, and I chopped them up with 4 carrots, and I fried them in that grease that was, or the fat of the Italian sausage. Now those are mild Italian sausage, okay? So 2 big leeks and 4 potatoes. Now when you do the leeks, you want to make sure that you clean them very well because they get sand or they get dirt on them. So make sure that you do that. Okay, so that's the 2 things that I did there. And then I chopped up some Yukon potatoes. And that's that's my only big ingredients. The rest of it's mostly just spices and herbs and then some chicken broth. Now, the type of broth that I like to use, I don't know if I mentioned that to you before, is this brand. I like to get, this is a more professional brand for like cooks and stuff. And so this will make 8 gallons of broth. And I like to use that. And you don't have to refrigerate it either. So it works great. So I'm out of chicken broth, but I have enough, I think. But if not, I have that vegetable broth that I can back up on that one. Now, it also calls for a little bit of white wine in it. And in this case, I'm using a 1/2 cup of white wine. But you don't have to use white wine. You could just use chicken or the vegetable broth. You know, you just don't have to, you don't even have to use the sausage. You can make it more, you know, without the meat and stuff. So you could do that. All right. So let's do that. Okay. So I'm gonna try to use 2 crock pots. So that I'm adding the leeks. And I can always add more potatoes if I feel like I don't have enough vegetables in this. I've got about 10 people today that's going to be eating, so I want to make sure that I've got enough of this. And then I'll probably make maybe a couple loaves of bread to make sure that I have plenty of bread. Then my potatoes. And now I'm going to add the pork sausage. And you see how easy this is? It's mostly just chopping everything up and getting everything all ready to go in. But it's just so easy. Once you put it in there, that's it. Okay, then I'm going to add the broth. Okay, so this one I'm going to probably have to add some more liquid to it. So I'll add a little bit of the vegetable broth to it. And I'm going to add a little bit of white wine. Now, I'm going to have bay leaves, 2 bay leaves, one for this one and one for the other. And then I'm going to have some black pepper. So I'm just going to put probably about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper in that one and about 1/4 in this one. And then I'm going to put like a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, maybe a little bit more than half, and then a little bit over there in that one. Okay, so now on the garlic, I didn't have fresh garlic this morning either, so I have to use granulated garlic. That's okay. This is a big heaping tablespoon of garlic. So I believe that that's all my ingredients right there. So you see how easy that is? So now at this point, I'm just going to stir it around. And put the lid on it. And same thing with this one over here. Let me just get this lid out of the way though. It's been raining for the last couple of days here, so I thought soup would be just ideal today because it's just not, it's not a very good weather today. Yesterday was a little bit windy, but today it doesn't seem like it's too much wind. So now on the vegetable one, let me read what specific. I usually, let's see. So on this one, a half a cup of this will make 1 gallon, but we're not going to do that. I'm just going to wing it. Oh, jeez. I almost lost it there. Okay. Well, that's a mess now, huh? Nothing like making big messes early in the morning. But the final product, you know, if I feel like it needs more broth in it, after I get it, when I come back, then I would just add a little bit more broth. Or a little bit salt. I did not add salt because of the broth having salt in it. Okay. Got the lid on that. All right. And so let's continue where we left off now. So when I left off the last part, we had the crock pots going. So I went and did some errands and stuff. And I smell like onions from all this stuff. Oh my goodness. Anyway. All right. So going to the bread machine for the bread. It's a garden herb bread. And we're going to be doing the rapid, or actually we're going to be doing the express bake of 58 minutes on this one. So the first thing you want to add is you're going to add 1 1/4 cup of warm water. 3 cups of bread flour. And I like to sprinkle mine around like that, so it goes around evenly so that I can make the little well in the end to add the yeast. Okay, then 2 tablespoons of dried milk. 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1 1/2, or no, let's go with the butter. The next is 2 tablespoons of butter. 1 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 2 tablespoons of chives, chopped up chives. I can get them out. 1 teaspoon of basil. 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. 1/2 teaspoon of parsley. So now the last thing that I'm going to be putting in the bucket will be the yeast. So let me move this, and I make the little well in the middle. And I'm using 2 teaspoons of the fast rise yeast. And that's it. Then I take the bucket, go over here and snap it in. And then I can leave the lid open though, because I like to watch to make sure that the bread, that all the flour got in there, that it didn't leave anything in the bottom. Okay, so we're going to select it to number 5. 5, and I'm going to go with, I think I'll go with the lighter color on the crust this time. Doesn't want to go to the lighter crust. Why is that? Maybe it wants you to use that color. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's start it up. It's 58 minutes. So it's going. Okay, now moving along. So remember we had the salad. Okay, so now the salad is using just the butterhead lettuce is all I'm using. So I put it in my Tupperware container, as you can see, and this is my salad dressing. So now on the salad dressing, if you want to make a lot of this, then you would just increase the amount, okay? But in this case, I used 3 tablespoons of really nice olive oil. If you don't have a really nice olive oil, that's fine. I just like the taste of the really nice olive oil, but you could use a lighter olive oil, or you could use whatever oil you have, okay? And then I used almost a teaspoon of honey. And then 3 of these here. Now let me make sure, okay, let me divide this back now, okay, because I usually make a larger amount. So, yes, it'd be almost 1 teaspoon of honey, and it would be 2 tablespoons of the apple cider vinegar. And then you would go with 3 tablespoons of the olive oil. And then you would put a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper in them. That's all you would do. Shake it up. You could, if you was making a large amount, you could put it in your blender and let it blend it up really nice too. And then I just put it in here, and she knows what to do with it. She knows to use it. Now it's just for the butterhead lettuce, but if she wants to put something else, she can go ahead and add whatever she's got at the house that maybe she needs to use up. She knows the drill. And so that's all you do. And so the salad's done. I'll put that in the refrigerator. And this, by the time the bread is finished, the crock pot should be completed already. So now you see it's wanting to stick to the side of the wall. So I get in there with the spatula and I pull it to the center, to go to the center of the ball of the dough, to get in there and mix with the other guys. Don't hang out the corner of the side of the machine or the bucket. And so I'll keep a little eye on that. Now, if the machine was like making a really heavier noise, then that might indicate you might need a few drops of water, warm water. That would mean it's like a little dry. But this one seems just perfectly fine. It's picking it up now, way better. But you want to make sure that it takes all the flour off the floor of the bucket. Otherwise, your flour will bake, and so when you pull your bread out, you will have baked flour at the bottom. Trust me, that's happened before. Okay, so now that's going, and so we'll take a little break. I'll clean up, get everything ready, and we'll come back and show you what the bread looks like. Hello. All right. So here we go. So the crock pots are done. They're finished, and it's all tastes great. I tried a little bit, and I'm like, oh goodness, boy, house sure smells great too. Okay, so the final thing for the crock pot, now that it's done. So I like my crock pot of the soup, I like it a little bit creamy. So I mixed up some half and half of milk. You could just do a little bit of half and half, or you could do more half and half if you wanted more savory type flavor. And then what I will do is I will pour it in here. I'm gonna save the rest for the little one. And then I will stir it around. And I'll leave that like that. So now it's ready. Once it cools down enough that I can put in the Tupperware dishes or the glass containers, then it's good to go. Same thing with this little one. It sure does smell good. And oh boy, it tastes good too. Now remember, this is with Yukon potatoes, and it's mild Italian squash. Mild Italian sausage. Squash, good Lord, I don't know what in the world I was thinking there. Okay, and then with the leeks, a little bit of carrots. So there you have it. Now, the other thing was that we did the bread, right? Okay, let me bring this down. So the bread is absolutely wonderful. Just so, oh, it smells so good. Look at that. It just smells, oh, wow. So let me show you how that came out. So I'll finish slicing that up and I'll pack that too. Now, speaking about bread. So another way you can do bread, if you want to do it for your salad today, is with the butterhead lettuce. So I took 2 pieces of bread, just regular bread, white bread or wheat bread, you know, and I took and I put some olive oil in here, and then I put this stuff here. It's called Mushroom and Company. And it's got all sorts of mushrooms in it. And then I just put it in with the olive oil, and I moved that around there. And I took the bread and I just coated the slices of bread. I only coated one side of the 2 slices of bread. I put them together and I sliced them into little squares like this, small like croutons. And I left it uncovered, and I put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. And it comes out like fast croutons. So you don't have to buy croutons. Those things are really expensive, and they're so simple to make. I mean, why do you have to go spend money like that when you can just make them so easy? Okay, then the other thing is you know how we did the butterhead lettuce today. So you get the butterhead lettuce a lot of times. If I buy a lot, it comes in these big containers. I love these big containers. What you do is, you know, you clean them with soap and water, and you just keep stacking them and stacking them. So when Christmas comes around and Thanksgiving comes around, you've got a container to put your cookies in, your dinner rolls in, leftover food. And I also forgot to tell you this too, that remember when we were doing the bread machine. Now, if you did not want to do the loaf and you wanted to do dinner rolls, then you would just do the same thing, but you would do it on the dough cycle. And once the dough cycle comes off, then you bring it out and you form your little dinner rolls and put them in the oven and bake them. And so you have dinner rolls. You don't have to go out and buy dinner rolls for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And that's nice, you know, and you know, they're good because they're your dinner rolls. You can brag about it too, right? So I'm sitting down thinking of all this and enjoying my nice little tea. Now, I've had this tea glass for many years. I think the reason why it's lasted me so long is because I never put it in the dishwasher. I always just, you know, washed it by hand. So what I did is I put some little bit of hibiscus in this little strainer here, and then there's the lid. So I put some hibiscus, some chopped up apples. You can put up chopped up pears if you wanted, and some almonds, just a little bit. And then I took a couple sprigs of my lavender, and I put them in there also. I first fill it with water, and then I put the filter over it. Now, let me get the camera close up so you can see this. Okay, so when you take the lid off, like this, the first thing I do when I fill it with the tea, the loose tea or tea bag. Then I take the lid off. Now you want to be careful so you don't spill it on your shirt, right? So you give it a little air and then you flip it up on its side. So when you flip it up on its side, all the water that's captured up in the top of the cap will drain down, okay? There you go. Now, see, there's still a little bit of water, so you have to be careful not to get that on your clothes, especially if it's got hibiscus in it. Okay, then I put it back down. Now, let me see if I can, just a second. Okay, so there you can see how it is. You see the lavender and the apples and stuff like that. Okay, so that in that part there, you can just either throw it in the garbage or throw it in the compost. And you drink your tea like that. I just love this thing, just love it. You can probably find these at the tea shop or online, you know. It's pretty easy to find. Anyway, so I think that is it. I think we've got dinner ready. So now I'm waiting for it to cool off and I'll pack it up. Now, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video today. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like, you can always share this video with your friends, you know. That would be great for me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great day. Bye now.